London, baby.
Yeah.
Hi, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of Life with Z. In this week's episode, I'm going to be recapping our most recent vacation where we spent 10 days in London, England for our 5-year wedding anniversary. We had so much fun exploring all the sites. I put a little itinerary together for us ahead of time so we could maximize our time there. And I can't wait to show you all the things we got into. We had a special day on our anniversary where we spent the day in Paris. So many fun things to show you, from landmarks in London to shopping and eating and exploring. This is going to be a really fun video and I'm excited to spend the time with you. So let's get started. After our 8-hour flight to Heathrow Airport in London, we checked into our Airbnb and we decided to stay in Shoreditch, London, just because of the area and the proximity to delicious restaurants like Dishoom, where we had dinner our first night. This restaurant has such high ratings and we absolutely loved it. The food was delicious and the atmosphere was even better. And as we were leaving, we saw a line around the block, so obviously the locals and tourists agree. And then we spent the evening just kind of exploring Shoreditch, where we were staying, and getting a feel for the London lifestyle. London, baby!
Yeah.
It was my first time in London, and my husband actually grew up here. He spent a few years living in London with his family because of his dad's work. So it was fun for him to get to come back and see what had changed and show me around. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Life with Z. We are coming to you from London. We just landed today. We are so excited to be here for 10 days in London, England, and absolutely so excited to see all the different sites. We just landed this afternoon, and first things first, we grabbed some dinner at an Indian restaurant in Shoreditch. We're staying at our Airbnb here, and I'll have to give you a tour. We have plenty of space and it's really nice and cozy. But we had dinner at Dishoom. It was Indian cuisine and we had some, what was it? Fried potatoes, basmati rice.
Lamb chops.
Greg got some lamb chops. It was delicious. And I had made a reservation in advance, so we were able to get seated right away. We sat outside and enjoyed the view. And as we were leaving, there was a line out the door and around the block. So turns out it's a pretty popular restaurant, but I really enjoyed it. I would definitely go back.
Yeah, me too. I loved it.
And then we walked around, what was it? Outdoor shopping mall
Yeah.
in downtown Shoreditch. And turns out this is a bit of a bachelorette destination. So lots of big groups of girls having fun, very Nashville-esque. So felt like we were right at home.
Very wild.
We were running on very little sleep after that red-eye flight last night. So just gonna kind of relax and unwind at our Airbnb. And then tomorrow, wake up bright and early. We're having breakfast at the Sky Garden. And then we're going to see the tower, the London Tower and the Tower Bridge called.
Tower Bridge.
Tower Bridge. So Tower of London and Tower Bridge.
Okay.
Or London Tower and Tower Bridge.
I'm so tired.
We're very tired. We're going to see a tower and a bridge, and then we're going to the F1 arcade to watch the race with all the fans. So should be really fun. We're really looking forward to it. So we'll check back in with you tomorrow. Okay, what is it called? After getting some much needed rest and figuring out the names of the landmarks that we wanted to see, we made our way over to the Sky Garden, which is an observatory known for the stunning 360 views of downtown London. And a little hack I found in my research is, instead of paying for admission, you can make reservations at the Darwin Brasserie and have a delicious breakfast that includes access to the Sky Garden where you can take in the views. This was one of our favorite meals of our trip, So I highly recommend, if you're going to be in London, add Darwin Brasserie and the Sky Garden to your itinerary. After enjoying our delicious breakfast and taking in the stunning views of the London skyline, we made our way over to the Tower of London to take in the historic landmark for all that it is. This was my first time in London, like I had mentioned, so it was really important to me to hit all these historic landmarks and just walking around this tower, taking in all the history, the construction. It's so beautiful and it's essential for any first-time trip to London. Then we made our way over to Tower Bridge and it was a bright sunny afternoon, so we got to take in all the beautiful views. And we decided on a whim to do a tour inside as well, and I'm so glad we did. The views up here of the River Thames and all the London landmarks, it was so beautiful, and we had so much fun learning a little bit more about London's history. Of course, had to get a video with one of the double-decker buses, a London staple. And then we decided to make our way over to the lawn near the bridge where we could do a little people watching and take in the beautiful sights. After spending a little time taking in some more of the sights and relaxing, we made our way over to the F1 arcade, which if your husband or boyfriend is anything like mine, he will absolutely love this car lover's dream. It is an F1 themed arcade and we happened to go on race day. So Greg got to watch the F1 race live with a bunch of other fans, and they had simulation racing and great snacks and drinks. So we really enjoyed that. And right near there is St. Paul's Cathedral, so we got to take in the beauty of this iconic church as well. They were actually getting ready for Sunday evening mass, so we didn't get to go in, but it was just as beautiful from the outside. And then we figured out the Tube, as they call it, their public transportation, so we got our Oyster cards and rode that for the first time of many throughout our stay. Alright you guys, we just got back from a really fun day exploring London. Today was day 2 for us. We started out with breakfast at the Sky Garden. We went to the Darwin Brasserie and we had absolutely delicious breakfast. We both got omelets and we shared a breakfast parfait. It was so beautiful, the ambiance in there from all the beautiful windows. And what I found out from doing a little bit of research, if you actually reserve a table at the Darwin Brasserie, you get free entry into the Sky Garden. Otherwise you have to pay for tickets. So that's a little hack for you. So we got to explore the Sky Garden and have breakfast. And then we went over to the London Tower and Tower Bridge and got to explore those. Spent a little time just in the green space over by the bridge, taking in the view, and had a little lemonade. So that was a really fun afternoon. And then the main event of the day was the F1 arcade for Greg. This was something I found online when I was researching. He's a big F1 fan, and since there weren't going to be any races while we were here, we wanted to have a few F1 activities. Greg never misses an F1 race, so it was really fun to watch it live with a bunch of people who were all just as excited and cheering on the different teams. So we watched the F1 race. We actually paid to have grandstand tickets, I believe it was called, and there was food and drink, and they had simulation racing. So that was a really fun, unique experience that I know he really enjoyed. And then after the F1 arcade, we were right next to St. Paul's Cathedral. So we took a walk around that, and then they were actually just getting ready for 5 o'clock mass. So we couldn't go inside and tour it, but We made our way over to do a little shopping, which was really fun. Got to check out some of the stores and picked up the ingredients to make some spaghetti dinner. We have been out since 8 a.m. this morning and we are just ready to relax and unwind at the Airbnb. So just wanted to check in with you, and now we'll get back to it. One of the things I love about the flexibility of staying in an Airbnb is all the amenities you have, from the stovetop and refrigerator for cooking and having meals at home, to laundry and an additional living space like how we had a living room. It just makes it that much more homey and cozy, especially if you're going to be away for 10 days like we were. So while we definitely did plenty of dining out and eating delicious food, it was good to save a few dollars and also relax and reset at home with a few meals at our Airbnb. The next morning, we were up bright and early to tour Buckingham Palace, and we were lucky enough that when we arrived, we were right around the time of the changing of the guards. So that was such an incredible experience to see. It was obviously very busy, but fun to see the soldiers coming in and out of the gates and switching over their post. And just seeing Buckingham Palace up close and personal and all the history. I've always kind of followed the royal family. So to see such an iconic place where so many historical moments have happened was absolutely a bucket list item for me. And then we just spent some time out in front of the palace enjoying the beautiful fountain and the gardens. We had to make our way over to see the infamous horses that the guards often have, and we actually had quite a unique interaction. The horses are well marked and labeled, please do not touch, pet, approach, and we saw someone who nearly got hurt himself just by reaching out to pet one of the horses. So anyways, we had so much fun exploring that area and actually hit a few gift shops, and thankfully we were not hurt or bit by any horses in the process. After spending the morning at Buckingham Palace, we made our way over to Trafalgar Square to take in the sights before heading over to do a little shopping at Piccadilly Circus. This is similar to New York Times Square with all the shopping, lights, sounds, huge billboards, tour buses, and everything in between. It was really fun to be in all the hustle and bustle, and I had to find all the sweet treats. We made our way over to Fortnum & Mason, which is an iconic tea and sweets and bakery shop in downtown London, known for their famous tea time. And of course, we had to have tea. So we made our way upstairs, and I was enamored by this teacup wall they had with all these little teacups and their golden wings making their way up the stairs, guiding you up to enjoy a delicious, beautiful tea time. The room they had set up was so beautiful, and Greg was a really good sport. After we had done the F1 activity for him, I joked that this was my version of an F1 arcade. So we had a beautiful, girly afternoon tea together, and I absolutely loved it. After tea time, we went for a walk along Serpentine Lake and stopped for a little coffee at the Serpentine Coffee House. We made our way through Kensington Gardens and over to Kensington Palace. They had a beautiful lake out front where we took a moment to just soak in the beauty and look at all the beautiful swans and ducks swimming in the water. It was so beautiful and definitely worth the long walk. And then we walked around Kensington Palace and took in all the beautiful sights. The architecture in London is stunning, and it was so beautiful to see yet another royal palace. Then we made our way over to Notting Hill and had dinner at the Barbary. This was another highly rated restaurant in London known for their Mediterranean cuisine, and we had some delicious pita bread and whipped feta and enjoyed our dinner before exploring Notting Hill a bit more and then taking the tube back home to rest for the night. The next day, we rented a car to explore a bit more, and it was quite an experience for Greg to drive on the right side of the car on the left side of the road. Driving in London?
Yes.
How do you like it?
It's different. It's a lot of fun. A little disorienting, but you get the hang of
You're doing great.
it. What's that?
You're doing great.
Thank you. There's a big lorry next to us. It's hard to hear.
This day was a highly anticipated travel day for us. We were so excited to make our way over to Billericay, Essex, the town that Greg and his family lived in for a few years while they were stationed in England for his dad's engineering job with Ford. Greg got the chance to show me downtown, the church he was confirmed at, the high school he went to, and even one of the houses that he grew up in. And then the cherry on top, we were able to meet one of his childhood best friends for lunch, and I got to finally meet Simon and his beautiful wife, Sarah. We had such a great time catching up with them. Then we made our way back to the Airbnb for a little homemade dinner, some comfort food with my potato tacos. The next day was a shopping day for us, so we made our way over to Oxford Circus, and I was really excited to see Harrods for the first time. This is a London staple and a one-of-a-kind department store with all sorts of luxury brands. But I was most excited to see the chocolate hall with every kind of gourmet chocolate you can imagine. We spent over an hour in here just looking at everything, and I definitely bought some souvenirs. We made our way upstairs to check out some of the designer clothing brands as well before making our way back to the Airbnb and enjoying these delicious quenelles that I picked up from Fortnum Mason. They're similar to a donut, but soaked in delicious flavors and sauces, and they were pretty good, definitely unique. And then the next day, we made our way over to the Borough Market. This iconic farmers market is one of the oldest standing markets in London, known for their beautiful fresh foods, from artisan breads to delicious produce. We had so much fun. This was a highlight of the trip for me. And we actually went with a shopping list, which I would highly recommend since you'll be overwhelmed by all the beautiful produce. And if you don't have any recipe in mind, it would truly be a waste. So we had plans to make a vegetable stir fry, and it was so fun to shop for all the ingredients. We had broccoli from England and peppers from France and cheese from Ireland, and everything was surprisingly affordable. You could definitely find ingredients like this in the US, but it wouldn't be from all these different countries as fresh and delicious as it was and as affordable. We picked up some lavender lemonade and enjoyed shopping through the market. Everywhere you looked, there were little gems like this wild mushroom risotto stand selling delicious goodies, and we had some Indian food for lunch before taking the train over to Windsor Castle. We had booked a tour in advance of Windsor Castle, and this by far was my favorite royal property to walk around. It is massive, and the construction is absolutely gorgeous. We walked around for hours, both inside and out, just taking in all the sights, and got to see another royal guard on duty, and then explored Windsor for a bit before making our way back home. The next day, we were up bright and early to take the tube over to King's Cross Station and then took the Eurostar to Paris to celebrate our 5-year anniversary. This was another highlight for me to take this very famous train underground and under the ocean to make our way over to Paris. And here we are, we made it to the Eiffel Tower. This was on the top of my bucket list, and it was even more beautiful in person than I could have imagined. We had lunch in the Eiffel Tower, and this is another little tip I have for you. So instead of buying tickets to go up to the Eiffel Tower, you can book lunch at Madame Brasserie, where we enjoyed a bite to eat while looking out over Paris and had an absolutely beautiful time celebrating. With your ticket for lunch, you get access into the Eiffel Tower, so it's another way to maximize your dollar and save a little on entry in order to enjoy lunch at the same time. Then we made our way over to Louis Vuitton, another dream. I was able to do a little shopping at the flagship Louis Vuitton store. We had such a kind salesman, and he gave us a tour of the store and was showing us all these beautiful high-end pieces. Of course, I had to treat myself with a little purchase, and then we made our way over to the Arc de Triomphe and did a little shopping on the Champs-Elysees. Doing a little shopping
Oui, oui.
on the Champs-Elysees.
Yeah.
Happy 5-year anniversary.
Happy 5 years, babe.
To round out our day in Paris, we made our way over to the Louvre. We didn't have time this time to go inside, but taking in the beauty of the outside of the museum was still worth it. We loved just seeing all the people and the stunning architecture, and this gives us another reason to go back. We'll have to go back again soon and get to see the Mona Lisa and all the beautiful artwork that lives inside the Louvre. We took the Eurostar home after a fun day celebrating our anniversary in Paris, got some rest, and the next day we got up and made our way over to Greenwich to enjoy the market and explore, heading over to the Royal Observatory, where we got to see the Prime Meridian and learn a little bit about the history of the timekeeping in London. And the views from up here were absolutely breathtaking. They had a fun little activity where we could see the timekeeping ball rise and fall at 1 p.m. This is how they communicated time to the sailors at sea centuries ago. And we actually got to see the time ball rise and fall, which is what inspired the New Year's Eve time ball drop in Times Square.
3, 2, 1.
While at the Royal Observatory, we enjoyed a show at the planetarium before making our way over across the lawn and to the Cutty Sark exhibit. We got to see the giant ship in a bottle before heading over and seeing the Cutty Sark ship. And then we got to take a Uber boat, which was pretty cool. They have these boats running along the River Thames that can get you around pretty quickly. So while the ride was pretty choppy, it definitely was an efficient way to get around town. That night, we made our way over to the Churchill Arms, a historic, famous British pub where we enjoyed a uniquely Asian dinner and had some delicious food before exploring a bit and then heading home to our Airbnb. On our last and final day of vacation, we made our way over to see some of the famous London landmarks when it was a little less busy, bright and early in the morning, and seeing Big Ben with the sun shining bright and the London Eye in all its glory was absolutely beautiful and definitely a highlight of the trip. And then finally, we made our way for our grand finale to Stamford Bridge to see a Chelsea football game live and in person. I know this was definitely a highlight for Greg, being his favorite European football team. We got to do a tour of their Chelsea museum and take some pictures on the field before seeing them win against Milan in an excellent football match. And that's all for our European adventure. We had so much fun and can't wait for our next trip. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you next week for a brand new video. Bye!